Hezbollah leader tells US to halt Israel's Gaza attack to prevent a regional war, SBS News. Hezbollah leader tells US to halt Israel's Gaza attack to prevent a regional war. Hezbollah leader Syed Hassan Nasrallah has given a televised speech, saying his Lebanon-based organization is ready for all possibilities. Whoever wants to prevent a regional war, and this is addressed to the Americans, must quickly stop the aggression on Gaza, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah said in his first speech since the war broke out. Source: EPA, Whale HAMZEH, EPA. Hezbollah leader Syed Hassan Nasrallah has given a televised speech, saying his Lebanon-based organization is ready for all possibilities. The leader of Lebanon's Hezbollah has warned the United States that if Israel does not stop its assault on Gaza, then fighting on the Lebanese front could turn into a wider war. A strong military force backed by Iran, Hezbollah has been engaging Israeli forces along the Lebanon-Israel border in the deadliest escalation since it fought a war with Israel in 2006. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict, a brief history. Friends or foes? Where Israel's Middle Eastern neighbors stand on its war against Hamas. As war rages in Gaza, why is the West Bank in its deadliest week of violence? Relief and fear. Evacuated Australians speak after Gaza border crossing breakthrough. He blamed the United States for the war in Gaza and the high civilian death toll and said a de-escalation in the besieged enclave was vital to prevent regional war. You, the Americans, can stop the aggression against Gaza because it is your aggression. Whoever wants to prevent a regional war, and I am talking to the Americans, must quickly halt the aggression on Gaza, Nasrallah said. Nasrallah said that further escalation along the Lebanese border between Israel and his group, a Hamas ally, was contingent on what happened in the Gaza Strip, under assault by Israeli forces since a deadly Hamas attack on Israel on the 7th of October. Nasrallah predicted Israel's defeat in the war, and condemned Israel's extremist, foolish, stupid and brutal government. He sent his condolences to the families of those killed in the conflict, as well as his congratulations, saying that the dead would reach paradise. The attacks on the 7th of October represented a new historical phase of the conflict with the enemy, he said. After Israeli forces invaded southern Lebanon that year, it is backed by Iran and leads a multi-party alliance that holds just under half the seats in Lebanon's parliament. Hezbollah is listed as a terrorist organization by countries including Australia, the US, Germany and the UK. The European Union lists only its military wing as a terrorist organization. Top US diplomat arrives in Israel. Nasrallah's remarks coincided with a visit to Israel by US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who said the US had been clear that it is determined there should not be a second or third front in the conflict. Blinken was speaking to reporters in Tel Aviv following meetings with Israeli leaders, adding that the US is committed to deterring aggression from any party. He also appealed to Israel to take steps to protect civilians in Gaza as its forces kept up their bombardment of the Palestinian enclave and the death toll among residents soared. Gaza health authorities say at least 9,061 people, many of them women and children, have been killed since Israel started its assault on the enclave of 2.3 million people in retaliation for deadly attacks by Hamas militants on southern Israel. Israel says Hamas killed 1,400 people, mostly civilians, and took more than 240 hostages in the attacks on the deadliest day of its 75-year-old history. On Thursday, Netanyahu said the military had encircled Gaza City and was advancing. The Israeli military said on Friday its warplanes, artillery and navy had struck Hamas targets overnight, killing several militants including Mustafa Dalal, a Hamas commander it said had directed combat in Gaza. Hamas is a Palestinian military and political group, which has gained power in the Gaza Strip since winning legislative elections there in 2006. Its stated aim is to establish a Palestinian state, while refusing to recognize Israel's right to exist. Share this with family and friends. Recommended for you. Who are Yemen's Houthis and why did they attack Israel? World. Fury, a protest, and strikes. Drama as Qantas, Coles hold annual general meetings. Australia. Paul Keating details why he refused to sign Hamas-Israel statement by former PMs. Australia. The deeply problematic methods some councils use to deter homeless people. Australia. Relief and fear. Evacuated Australians speak after Gaza border crossing breakthrough. Australia. Don't wait, government urged to repatriate 31 Australians from Syria, despite court ruling. Australia. Gaza officials, Israeli strikes on refugee camp killed 195, as UN flags possible war crimes. Middle East. Israel claims responsibility for airstrike on Gaza ambulance as US, Arab leaders meet. World. Topics. SBS World News. Explore SBS. SBS Home. SBS On Demand. News. Audio. Languages. What's on TV and radio guide. Food. Indigenous. Sport. Voices. Teaching resources. Languages. Arabic. Pu Tong Hua, Mandarin. Guang Dong Hua, Cantonese. Tieng Viet, Vietnamese. Hangujeo, Korean. See all languages. Contact SBS. 1-800-500-727, toll free. Help Centre. Locked Bag 028, Crow's Nest, New South Wales 1585. Follow SBS, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Copyright, terms and conditions, privacy, your online preferences, sales and advertising, complaints, SBS Code of Practice, careers, about us. SBS acknowledges the traditional custodians of country and their connections and continuous care for the skies, lands and waterways throughout Australia.